What's up, guys? Welcome to day 9 of 12 days of YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about what is up with Gear Tier 13. So chances are, if you're a really late game player, you already know what's going on with Gear Tier 13 and Dark Dimension and Enter the Darkness and Fear the Darkness. But what I've found from streaming every day is I get asked every day, what's up with Gear Tier 13? I get asked, does anyone have Ultron yet? Are you going for Ultron? When are you going to do Fear the Darkness? What are you waiting for? How many characters do you have at Gear Tier 13? Is it even possible to get characters at Gear Tier 13? It looks like, generally speaking, people really aren't that sure what's going on. So, obviously, if you already know what's going on, you don't really have to worry too much about this video. But if you're part of what seems to be the majority of people who have no idea what's actually going on with Gear Tier 13, I will be happy to clarify the situation. So, let's start from the top. So, there is a super late game mode called Dark Dimension, and there are two difficulties of it: Enter the Darkness and Fear the Darkness. Enter the Darkness requires 6-star, and it is the easier one. And then Fear the Darkness requires Gear Tier 13 characters, and it is described as, quote, insanely hard. So, we can take a look at Fear the Darkness, which opens up once you've completed Enter the Darkness the first time. And we'll go ahead and look at the first node here. And look at how people are doing on the first node, and you'll notice nobody has touched it. No one's touched it. So it was a big deal that Fear the Darkness was opening. They even pushed back the opening. So now it's open, and what's going on? Nobody is doing it. So you may be wondering, what's going on? What are the top players scared? Is it that they can't enter? So technically, it is possible to enter that node. Definitely no one is in the position where they have even a prayer of having enough characters ready to even make a dent on the node, but it is technically possible to have 1 or 2 characters ready to at least set foot in there. But I had imagined that you're wondering why that is, so of course let's get into it. So I have 2 characters I can use as examples here, Shield Assault and Shield Security, and you'll notice that they are both 1 item away from being Gear Tier 13. So let's see what that's all about. So you'll notice that this is an orange item, this is an orange item, and this is an orange item. So at Gear Tier 12, you need, in total, 4 completed full orange items to move to Gear Tier 13. So you'll see, I have 3 orange items on my Shield Assault, and I have 3 orange items on Shield Security. And you'll notice that the missing item is in the exact same spot for both of them, and I'll get into that in a sec. But first and foremost, these orange items over here, they are surprisingly difficult to come by. So right now, the only sources for orange gear, common orange gear like this, you can go to your supply shop, and so you'll see them here, and they're not cheap for a single component. You're looking at over 30,000 gold, certainly not cheap. And then they'll never be in your raid store. But if you look at the rewards for example, like the beta raid, let's take a look at these rewards here. You'll notice that it gives small amounts. Let's look at Tier 3 here, where it's not so small. But you'll notice that this awards orange gear orb fragments. Now, specifically with the beta raids, I don't believe any alliance is consistently 100%ing the beta raids. It's certainly possible if they wanted to spend a little bit that an alliance can 100% beta raids. I'm sure at least one alliance has done it at least a couple times already, but it's not particularly cost efficient right now. So most alliances are scoring in the 60%, and they're getting about half an orange gear orb each day. And if they're towards the bottom, even less. And so those orange gear orbs award random orange gear. There's no way to know what they're going to drop. And as you can see, some of these, you need 30 of these to make 1 of these, and it requires 2 of them. So you need quite a few pieces of orange gear. Now, you may be looking at that and going, okay, but you have 177 of them, so they're obviously not that rare. So for getting the orange gear orbs, there's 1 more good source of orange gear, and that's Dark Dimension itself. So the easier version of Dark Dimension is called Enter the Darkness, and Enter the Darkness, when you complete it the first time, rewards you with a ton of orange gear. I'd show you, but it's not listed here for me because I can't get those rewards anymore. I've already beat it twice. But if you look at Fear the Darkness, it looks exactly like this. Forget the Ultron for a second, but the rest of the orange gear. So it has chances to drop full orange items, but again, it's completely random. So you'll see it says possible rewards up at the top. So there's no way to guarantee what items you're going to get. You might get full items for Mystic and Mutant, or you might get full items for Tech and Skill. You never know. And then not only can you get full items, but you can also get a large amount of the components. So again, this is just listing like the total possible amount of these things that you can get. In reality, you get much less. On stream earlier, I finished the second run of Dark Dimension, so you can see exactly what I did get from earlier today, which is what's actually prompting me to make this video to kind of explain what's going on. But so you can get orange gear from Fear the Darkness. So while it's certainly a slow process if you don't get good drops from Enter the Darkness, the easier version of Dark Dimension, it is very possible to make these 3 orange items. And on Shield Security, it's these 3 orange items, but same difference. So what's going on with this last spot? So before we get into that, I'll use the Rage store as an example. So you'll notice that there's a row of blue items, but then there's 2 rows of purple items. And you'll notice that these purple items are much less familiar. You certainly don't use them as often. So these purple items, I just call them commons or basics, whatever you want to call them. But then these are called uniques. So these are the purple tier unique items. And you'll see that a lot of my higher tier characters need them. You start to need them more often and for more things for the later items for purple tier characters. But so the reason that it is almost impossible to get a Gear Tier 13 character right now is because you need orange uniques. And there are almost no sources for orange uniques right now. There are exactly 2 sources that we've ever seen, and one of them is already gone, which means there's right now 1 really bad source for orange uniques. So what are those sources? So the source that's gone, it was just introduced in this newest milestone. So prior to this, this has not been available in any milestones before. This is the first time we've ever seen this. But if you scroll down here to the whale section, they have something called the Orange Uniques Orb Fragment. So you had to go deep into the whale section here to have a chance at 2 of these orbs. If you went all the way, and this is an alliance milestone, by the way. So to get milestone 14 on this milestone, your entire alliance would have had to have spent 500 power cores, and every single day, by the way, 500 power cores over the 5 days. So every member of your alliance would have had to have been willing to pony up 2,500 power cores, about $40. And if they did that and successfully, every single person in the alliance dumped the maximum amount of energy that they could, including buying with power cores, into that Miles Webhead Warrior campaign, then they could have walked away with what would be 2? Oh no, it'd be 3. They could have walked away with 3 orange uniques orbs. So there's no way to know what those orange unique orbs are going to drop because there's all different uniques, and there's no way to know if you're going to get a big quantity in the center drop or a small quantity on the sides. So you kind of had to get lucky. And so as you can see, this item, for example, needs 12 of these. So let's assume that you were only getting stacks of 5. Of those 3 orbs, you would need 3 separate drops to be the exact same component, a stack of 5, so that you could get 12 of them. So even if your entire alliance had whaled out, currently, it's highly unlikely that you got the uniques that you needed just from those few orbs. And then, of course, I mentioned there's 2 sources, so there is one other source of orange uniques, and that is the supply shop itself. So every once in a while, an orange unique shows up here. It's very rare, and there's no way to know when it's going to happen. But so technically, if you wanted to just whale out beyond belief, just make it rain, just throwing fistfuls of money, remortgaging your 5th condo, and basically turning over the pink slip to your entire Jaguar, Lamborghini, and Ferrari collection to Fox next, you could have enough power cores to keep spam and refresh on your supply shop until an orange unique showed up in here, and then bought one, and then refreshed some more until another one showed up, and then bought it, and then refreshed some more. It is, of course, highly, highly inefficient, not even remotely cost-effective to do that, but it is technically possible because the orange uniques do show up in the supply shop, but very, very rarely. But so those are the only sources for those orange uniques right now, and proof positive that they do show up in the shop. Obviously, as you saw from the milestones, my alliance did not hit those milestones, but I did see exactly one of these orange uniques in my shop one day, so I of course excitedly bought it. Oh, one down, 11 to go. How long is it going to take me to get the remaining 11? I have no idea, but I did buy one when I saw it in the shop. But so the main reason that you don't see players with Gear Tier 13 characters is orange uniques are hard to come by, and yeah, there just are no sources for them. There's a super rare drop in a supply shop, and that's about it. So hopefully in the future we will see more milestones that offer orange uniques. Hopefully not ones that effectively require your entire alliance to have to spend money to get. So, of course, as with anything, when there's something new or something crazy late game, it starts off being for supermassive whales only. So I understand the very first time we see these in milestones, they're specifically in the super whale section, but hopefully we don't have to wait much longer before there are some other sources. The fact that this orb exists now suggests to me that we are going to start seeing them, and once more people can get some orange uniques, then more people will be able to get characters to Gear Tier 13, and then you'll see more Gear Tier 13 characters, and then you might actually see people going in and attempting Fear the Darkness. So technically, if you got a character to Gear Tier 13, just one character, you could go into Fear the Darkness. Of course, you would get annihilated immediately, but you could at least set foot in there. And I don't know if it's true. I was told earlier that there is at least one player who has a Gear Tier 13 character right now. So again, I don't know if that's true. There might be more than one player, but if there are any at all, if what I had heard was true, it's very, 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 very rare right now, and now you understand why. So I think I've harped on about this long enough, but I thought for how often I get asked this question, it might be worth making this video and explaining what's going on. So that is the story with Gear Tier 13, and yeah, hopefully Fox Next makes the orange uniques more available to us in the near future so that we can have some more Gear Tier 13 characters. But alright, so that is a wrap for the Power Core giveaway for this video. In the comments, go ahead and let me know who is the character that you have that is the farthest along in terms of gear. Go ahead and let me know that in the comments below, and you will be entered to win $10 worth of Power Cores Google Play or iTunes. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace!